Imagine sitting in a quiet waiting room. The clock ticks slowly, your hands feel cold, and your heart beats a little too fast. You're waiting for the doctor to come in with results that could change your life. At that moment, every thought rushes through your mind. What if it's bad news? What if my life will never be the same? How will my family handle it? Health scares bring us face to face with something many of us don't like to admit. Life is uncertain, and uncertainty is uncomfortable. But here's the surprising truth. Uncertainty doesn't have to mean fear. It can actually become a doorway to growth, wisdom, and even peace. The very moments that shake us can also shape us into stronger, more hopeful people. Today, I want to take you on a journey, not into medical facts or complex advice, but into a mindset shift, a way of thinking that turns health scares from moments of dread into opportunities to live more fully, love more deeply, and embrace life with courage. If you are watching this, chances are you or someone you love has faced health challenges. Maybe it was a sudden scare. Maybe it was a diagnosis you weren't expecting. Or maybe it's the simple worry that comes with getting older. Whatever the case, please know this: you are not alone. In this video, we will talk about how to embrace uncertainty, not by ignoring it, not by pretending it isn't scary, but by learning how to see it differently. I'll share stories, simple practices, and a mindset that has helped many people over 50 not just survive health challenges, but thrive despite them. I invite you to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who could use a little hope today. Section 1. Accept that uncertainty is part of life. One of the hardest truths to accept as we grow older is that life is unpredictable. We can plan, we can prepare, and we can try our best to stay healthy, but sometimes life throws us challenges we never expected. Take Mary's story. Mary is 62 years old, a retired teacher. For years, she prided herself on taking care of her health. Regular walks, balanced meals, keeping up with her doctor's appointments. Yet one morning, she suddenly felt dizzy and faint. At the hospital, doctors found her blood pressure was dangerously high. She panicked. Thoughts raced through her mind. Why is this happening to me? I did everything right. What if it gets worse? Mary spent weeks feeling anxious, waiting for every small change in her body to signal disaster. But then something shifted. One evening, while talking to her granddaughter, she realized life has always been uncertain. Even when we are young, even when we are healthy, nothing is guaranteed. The truth is, uncertainty is not new. It has been with us since the day we were born. Medical studies actually support this idea. Research shows that individuals who accept uncertainty as a natural part of life tend to have lower stress levels and are more resilient when faced with challenges. Stress hormones drop, the body relaxes, and the mind becomes clearer. The lesson here is simple. Peace doesn't come from trying to control everything. Peace comes from accepting that we can't. And once we let go of the need to know every outcome, we free ourselves to live more fully in the present moment. Section 2. Focus on what you can control. While we cannot control the big picture, we can control our response. This is where the power lies. Instead of worrying endlessly about what might happen, we can take small, steady actions that improve our health and give us confidence. Think about John. John is 58 years old, an accountant. He had a scare when his doctor told him his blood sugar levels were dangerously high. At first, John felt defeated. He thought, it's too late, I can't change now. But after a few days of feeling hopeless, he asked himself a simple question. What can I control right now? He couldn't control his genetics. He couldn't erase years of poor eating habits. But he could control one small thing, his daily routine. So he started walking for 15 minutes every morning, just 15 minutes. Then he slowly increased it to 30. Within 6 months, not only had his sugar levels improved, but his energy and mood lifted too. The science? Experts say that even small lifestyle changes, like a short daily walk or adding one serving of vegetables to your meals, can reduce risks of chronic illness by up to 30 to 40%. That's huge. The lesson? Instead of drowning in what you can't control, focus on what you can. Whether it's your diet, your sleep, your exercise, or even your attitude, those small steps add up to a powerful transformation. And I want to hear from you, friends. If you believe small steps make big changes, type walk in the comments. Let's fill this space with encouragement for each other. Section 3, use fear as fuel. Fear often feels like an enemy. When a health scare happens, fear can grip us tightly. It makes our hearts race, our thoughts spin, and our bodies tense. Many of us think fear is a weakness. But what if fear isn't there to destroy us? What if fear is actually a powerful signal, a wake-up call that can push us towards positive change? Let me share Sarah's story. Sarah was 55 when she found a lump in her breast. Her first reaction was pure terror. She couldn't sleep, she couldn't eat, and every thought was filled with what if. When the tests came back, the lump turned out to be non-cancerous, but the experience shook her deeply. Instead of ignoring it, Sarah decided to let that fear fuel her choices. She changed her diet, replacing processed foods with fresh vegetables and lean proteins. She began practicing yoga 3 times a week. Most importantly, she started appreciating every single day she had with her family. The fear that once made her feel powerless became the very reason she became stronger, healthier, and more grateful. Science backs this up too. Research shows that lifestyle changes, like eating more whole foods, exercising, and reducing stress, can cut the risk of serious diseases by up to 40%. That's not a small number. Fear can be the push that reminds us now is the time to act. And here's the reframe. Instead of letting fear paralyze you, let it energize you. Fear is simply your body saying, pay attention. It's time to make a shift. And I'd love to know from you, have you ever used fear as motivation to make a change in your life? Share your story in the comments. You never know who might be encouraged by your words. Section 4, lean on community and support. When we face a health scare, our first instinct is often to go inward, to hide, to stay quiet, and carry the burden alone. Many seniors think, I don't want to worry my children, or I should be strong and deal with this myself. But here's the truth. Healing is not meant to be a lonely journey. Let me tell you about David. David was 67 when he had open heart surgery. After the operation, he felt weak, not just in his body, but in his spirit. He didn't want to trouble his wife or kids, so he kept his fears to himself. But inside, he felt isolated and hopeless. One day, a nurse suggested he join a local support group for heart patients. At first, David resisted. He thought, I don't want to sit around and talk about sickness. But he decided to try, just once. What he found was surprising. In that group, men and women his age shared stories of recovery, setbacks, fears, and victories. He realized he wasn't alone. When he heard how others were rebuilding their lives, he felt encouraged to push himself a little more each day. That support gave him the emotional strength to recover faster than he ever expected. Science confirms this too. Research shows that people with strong social support are more likely to heal faster, manage pain better, and even live longer. Community creates hope, and hope fuels healing. The lesson? Don't walk through health scares in silence. Reach out. Whether it's a family member, a friend, a support group, or even an online community, connection is medicine for the soul. And here's something I'd love for you to do. If you believe that sharing struggles make them lighter, type yes in the comments. Let's remind each other that we're stronger together. Section 5, find meaning in the challenge. Health scares are often seen only as problems, moments that steal our peace and fill us with worry. But what if they are also invitations? invitations to slow down, to reflect, and to discover what really matters most in life. Let me share the story of Amina. At 64, she was diagnosed with arthritis in her knees. She loved gardening, cooking for her family, and playing with her grandchildren. When her doctor told her she would need to limit certain activities, she felt devastated. She thought, this illness is taking away the things I love most. But over time, Amina noticed something unexpected. Because she couldn't stand in the kitchen for hours, her children began cooking more often, and they discovered a joy in preparing family recipes. Because she couldn't chase her grandchildren, she started sitting with them, telling stories about her childhood. Soon her grandchildren began saying, "Grandma, your stories are our favorite part of the day." What Amina first saw as a loss became a gift. Her arthritis didn't take away her ability to love her family, it simply changed how she expressed it. Instead of
Section 7. Rewrite the story in your mind. Every health scare comes with a story, and often the first story we tell ourselves is full of fear. This means I'm weak. This means my best years are over. This means I'll never be the same again. These thoughts may feel true in the moment, but they are not the only story available to us. The good news is this: you can rewrite the story in your mind. Take Paul, for example. At 60, Paul suffered a mild stroke. It shook him deeply. He couldn't move his left arm as easily as before, and even speaking felt tiring. At first, Paul kept telling himself, "This is the end of the life I knew. I'll never recover. I'm broken." And every time he repeated that story, he felt weaker. But one day, during his rehab session, his therapist looked him in the eye and said, "Paul, this isn't the end. It's the beginning of your comeback." Those words changed everything. Paul decided to rewrite his story. Instead of "I'm broken," he told himself, "I am rebuilding. This is my chance to grow stronger than I ever thought I could." From that moment, his therapy sessions became a mission, not a punishment. He celebrated every small victory: the day he lifted his arm a little higher, the day he walked 5 more steps, the day he spoke a full sentence without pause. His body followed the new story his mind was telling. Science supports this too. Studies on resilience show that people who frame their health struggles as opportunities for growth heal faster, maintain better mental health, and feel more hopeful about the future. The brain responds to the stories we repeat. It releases hormones, builds new pathways, and gives the body energy to match the mindset. The lesson we learn is that the words you use shape the world you live in. Instead of saying, "I'm sick," try saying, "I'm healing." Instead of "I'm weak," say, "I'm learning resilience." These small changes are not just positive thinking, they are tools that can change how your body and mind respond to challenges. So let me ask you, if you were to rewrite the story of your health today, what would your new title be? Share it in the comments. It could be as simple as "I'm a fighter," "I'm healing," or "I'm thriving." Your new story could become the first step toward your new strength. Section 8. Celebrate small victories. When we face a health scare, it's easy to focus only on the big picture. Will I get better? Will this illness go away? Will life ever feel normal again? But healing, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual, rarely happens all at once. It happens step by step, often in the form of small victories. And those small victories deserve to be celebrated. Let me share Helen's story. Helen is 72 and recovering from hip surgery. At first, even standing up from her chair felt like climbing a mountain. She cried because she couldn't move the way she once did, but her doctor encouraged her to celebrate every milestone. The first time she stood without help, that was a victory. The first time she walked 5 steps with her walker, that was a victory. The day she took a full lap around her garden, oh, that was a celebration her entire family joined in. Each small step gave her hope, and hope gave her the strength to keep going. Today, Helen is walking freely again, and she says, "The little wins kept me alive inside when my body felt broken outside." And science agrees. Psychologists say celebrating small achievements triggers dopamine, the brain's feel-good chemical. This doesn't just lift your mood, it actually motivates you to keep trying. In recovery, motivation is half the battle. The lesson: don't wait for the big cure or the final recovery before you celebrate. Cheer for yourself when you make progress, even if it's small. Each step forward is proof that you're moving, healing, and growing stronger. And I'd love to invite you to do something right now. Think of one small victory you've had recently. It could be finishing a walk, eating a healthy meal, or simply choosing to stay hopeful. Write it in the comments. Your small win might inspire someone else to notice their own. Section 9. Share your strength. One of the most beautiful gifts that can come from a health scare is the ability to turn your struggle into someone else's encouragement. When we keep our battles hidden, we carry the weight alone. But when we share our story, our fears, our victories, our lessons learned, we give hope to others who may be walking the same path. Now, let me tell you about Robert. At 69, Robert survived a heart attack. For a long time, he didn't talk about it. He didn't want to appear weak in front of his family. But eventually, his daughter encouraged him to share his journey with his grandchildren. One evening, sitting around the dinner table, Robert told them about the day his heart nearly stopped, about the fear he felt, and about the choices he made afterwards, eating better, exercising, and appreciating life more deeply. To his surprise, his grandchildren didn't see weakness. They saw courage. They saw a grandfather who fought for his health and came back stronger. His story didn't just inspire them, it changed how they thought about their own habits. One of his grandsons even joined a sports team, saying, "If Grandpa can fight back, so can I." Sharing doesn't just heal others, it heals us too. When we speak our truth, we transform pain into purpose. Research shows that people who tell their stories of resilience feel a greater sense of meaning and connection. It reminds them that their struggles weren't wasted. They were seeds of wisdom for someone else. DLL. Lesson. Your story is not just yours. It is a torch that can light someone else's path. By sharing, you give others permission to be brave, to believe, and to keep going. So I want to ask you something. If you've gone through a health scare, would you be willing to share even one lesson you've learned in the comments? It might be a single sentence, but it could be the encouragement someone out there desperately needs today. We've talked about acceptance, small steps, using fear as fuel, leaning on others, finding meaning, calming the mind, rewriting the story, and celebrating victories. Now, let's bring it all together. There's an old proverb that says, "The same storm that shakes the tree strengthens its roots." A health scare is like that storm. It shakes us, sometimes violently, but it can also drive our roots deeper, helping us discover strength we never knew we had. Let me share a story. A woman named Grace, age 74, was diagnosed with cancer. At first, she saw only darkness. But during treatment, she decided to change her focus. Instead of asking, "Why me?" she asked, "What can I learn?" She journaled every day about gratitude, the kindness of nurses, the laughter of her grandchildren, the gift of another sunrise. Even while battling pain, she grew into someone more radiant than before. One day, her daughter told her, "Mom, you are my inspiration. You taught me what courage really looks like." Grace didn't just survive, she thrived in a way that left a legacy of strength for her family. That's the real power of a mindset shift. The truth is, uncertainty will always exist. But what if, instead of seeing it as an enemy, we embraced it as a teacher? What if every scare, every challenge, every unknown was simply an invitation to deepen our roots, open our hearts, and live with more purpose? That, my friends, is how we don't just endure health scares, we grow because of them. So here's my final reminder for you. Life is uncertain, but uncertainty does not have to mean fear. It can mean opportunity. It can mean growth. It can mean a chance to live each day with more gratitude, more strength, and more love. If today's message touched your heart, I invite you to do 3 things. Like this video so more people can discover it. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss another story of hope and encouragement. And share this video with a friend or family member who might be facing their own health challenge right now. They may need to hear this more than you know. Stay hopeful, stay strong, and remember, your story is not over. In fact, the next chapter could be the most powerful one yet. I'll see you in the next video.